Alright, so I'm going to try this a little bit differently today because people have to understand that what I'm asking for is for just a real powerful suggestion as to what can be being done next when you're dealing with these covert operators. But furthermore, it extends from abuse, and it extends from sexual abuse that was placed inside of my family at a very young age. So I just want to basically cover to where the abuses left me, to be led to further abuses in my life, to where I feel I have never gotten a chance to actually be myself. And myself is not anything that you see on my whole channel. And what I mean by that is that without the abuses and the covert operations and the covert poisonings, where I was an unwitting victim of poisoning from a very small age, through all my growing years, unable to develop to be able to even be the real myself, that these abuses led to further abuses in my life. And so obviously I've been looking for help out here based on the fact that these things are hard to cover. I was not born with any kind of video gear coming out of my eyeballs or anything like that, which would have been helpful. But it's just the fact of the matter is that's not actually what I'm asking for. I'm asking for the very ethics and moral standards of the law and of legal matters like these should be, in order to go after the rightful perpetrators of crimes. So it's basically because I was poisoned up as a kid, I couldn't take that stand against my father for his crimes against my mother, his crimes against my whole family, including my brothers who decided to side with his abuses, and against myself and my sister. So while these places aren't allowing me to grow into being able to be the real me, I was in developing stages of my life through the growing years of my life, and that just made it easier for them to continue the poisoning of me when I needed my mind to be developing on its own and its own availability. It wasn't allowing for me to be able to grow and be able to continue to grow, to ever be able to suggest to others that I had even a remote possibility of being able to grow into any fashion of myself, to do me the way I would have done my life. And so by that just making it easier to poison me up, so on and so forth, it was to where it just made it easier to hack me, where my own brothers, mind you, performing to suggest to do network marketing together, suggesting, one thing after another, just to eat up away all of my time and energy and resource to basically just go and do anything else on my own. Because they weren't trying to work with me, they were trying to work me. Like, not only out of my time and energy and resources, but literally work me within these campaigns to continue the poisoning of me, continue to drain me, and to literally drain me out of any financial stability whatsoever. So it wasn't just like trafficking me into a total takeover of my life, but they were manipulating family to even suggest that they were there for us, that we were going to make these things happen, when they didn't make these things happen. And they had no intention of making these things happen for the family. The only thing that they wanted was to make it easier for them to continue to play on their very highly immoral and manipulative energy, as well to play on their good nature to then immediately get them working within proxy or thinking manipulative, or not manipulative, but working as being manipulated within the same proxy against me or against anyone else, to be able to even see who they were being, what they were doing, through the good natures of others or through any other methods that were used in order to get access to me in that type of way, to create proxy friends, proxy lovers, to aid in their abuse against me, which made it easier to control me into, say, later on in life, placing me into an illegal hold. It was said by Hennepin County at the time that they didn't have any right to hold me against my will. Like, they literally said, I can tell that you aren't tripping, you aren't like on anything, so they literally have no right to hold you against your will. Not even if you were tripping, they don't have the right to hold you up against your will, suggesting that you're scratching their shoulders and they're calling it suicide. So he went to bat for me to get me out of there. But that was the intention behind the psychology with my own brothers, which is fascinating to me, because I did have one friend, a girlfriend of mine, that suggested that he doesn't belong here. Like, he's not crazy, his family's crazy. And they're not treating him right, is what she was saying to them. And so they said that all I needed was one other person to suggest that I didn't belong there. Well, through that manipulative process and the processes there, I couldn't get one other person to even suggest that. And I thought, good God, that's so weird. That is so weird. Like, not my friend, my proxy made friend, Jesse, not the proxy of like who these brothers were treating me like, not the manipulative efforts that was instilled inside of my sister, who I think would have went up to them and said he doesn't belong here. He's not crazy. I can vouch for him and say that he doesn't belong here. But at the time, I just don't think that people legitimately wanted to deal with what I was automatically going through, based on what other world events were happening around my life. That was just being left alone inside. And so it controlled me into a very illegally created proxy by their campaigns to leave me within abuses that made it easier to control me, and even pushing me into situation after situation, where the next situation after that, for an example, was the homelessness yet again, and a constant created issue to where it grows upon the issues that are already there, just to fabricate and make more of them. Or not fabricate, manufacture through the pains that they're giving to create more pain. They already know a lot of pain is there because they're the ones instigating it, and then after instigating it and leaving there being a lot of time before they're actually coming around to actually do something about it. Their only thing that they're doing about it is what they've already gone to their drawing boards, basically, in a figurative way of saying it, in order to work within the proxy war against me, the target, to continue this abuse in my life. So they pushed me into homelessness, and then because I grow out of these issues and I'm getting through them, now they don't want me to be with, my sister sleeping on the floor. You should be anywhere else. The same way of me being having the homelessness in the first place, that I shouldn't even be with my mom. I shouldn't be with anybody. So it's like, okay, so from being a kid onward, They didn't want to have me long enough to have even a couple months extra so that I could make it on my own. They wanted to make it ultra hard for me to even be able to eat or do anything upon getting a place. Next would be the proxies, by design, that were meaning to control my love life, make it easier for their abuses to again be continuing in my life, and constantly creating these issues to grow upon more issues, as I was saying. So as they're creating more of them, it's been being committed against me to where now, because I have been identity thefted, hacked, having my organic life stolen from me, and not being able to see these things because of the poisoning, now they're leaving me in a place where the hacker, Jesse, the proxy warfare designer through the affairs in my life to psychologically hurt me the worst ways. The idea is to go and create a problem that's just supposed to go and sort itself out on multiple counts, multiple levels. So because I'm seeing that, I'm realizing I'm in a covert warfare, I'm being gang-stalked, so either way that I can't see these people for what they're doing to me or can't reason through it. Now I'm coming to realize as I'm coming out of poisons that every single footstep that I make forward in my life is altered. And then every time that more happens to me, it's like you're being altered again and again and again and again. Right? And it just keeps happening. So it's taking me away from my normal grind, where the organic life of me has been completely eradicated, completely stolen from me. So next they're, because they didn't get me literally to die where they wanted me to, I was working hard. They tried to get me to die there, making me afraid just to even go to work. Then coming home, another cyanide attack. I had another time when I finally did gain enough strength to get back out to work. So it's eradicated my reality. It's eradicated my finances. It's completely sabotaged my normal grind from my normal work life. Not even just like the grind of like these gig apps, but literally staging up my love life in a fashion to gaslight me within my last job. And all other jobs, mind you, but it was just one of the worst experiences, this last job, because my performance probably went from pretty good to great to slowly eroding. And them not being able to see that it wasn't my own abilities and to try and do anything to help support me, but to suggest that I'm the common denominator and that they're just going to work me out of there because of other issues that I believe the covert poisoning creates, that just nobody would want you around, just in the general. And it's like, it's not just of your erosion, it's like legitimately what detoxing on these levels actually makes you hard to be around. I'll just say that. It's just embarrassing. It's very it's my health erosion, basically. That people can, it literally possibly smells like you already are dead. For an example, just leaving it out there as an example. So after they are trying to work me out of my car or out of my jobs, they're trying to work me out of my car to try and work me out of my home. If they can't get me out of my home, then it's to steal away my finances so that my water, my heat, my house, everything and all of the energy that I've used to obtain my life to be able to live it and try to live it well is being made by proxy to make it to where you can't meet your ends where you otherwise would have been able to, and you wouldn't have been losing the things that I'm talking about. Now, it's like because they can't see this in the legal fashions and do any kind of police investigative work to even be able to see through these crimes, as well as creating the false allegations through the crime as it's just to be committed against you, to be pushed inside of a hyperbole, so that anyone wouldn't be able to suggest that coming out of a long-standing poisoning, you're not going to be angry, or you're not going to be in a you're not going to have a certain attribute about yourself of anger or being in a rage and lashing out. When you are, there's literally, I don't think, any way around that. It's a frustrating feeling to like legitimately have all of the cells of your body, your mind, your heart, your organs, your everything, be able to start obtaining that oxygen again, while at the same time that they're trying to psychologically manipulate, psychologically damage, psychologically harass you in any kind of fashion to damage your finances, damage your life, and work about this crime. Like okay, if it can't go here, we're going to try and move here to make it click together. If they can make something click together to actually affect your life, well then you're in a very dangerous position, because they've gotten through that barrier to finally make something come together. And every time they do make that something come together, you know, of a crime where you're not able to continuously block it, force it off, and it comes together, it affects your life. And mind you, there's many ways that they made things come together. So you're emotionally sabotaged, you're financially wrecked, you're physically wrecked, you're mentally wrecked. You can't even get your own words out. Like, anyone that's on my messages here couldn't figure out for themselves that I'm finally able to speak. They can't see that fact, or finally actually able to collect my thoughts, to get my thoughts out as my thoughts happen, instead of having to, like, literally you don't have your words, or like, you know, these proxy players being like, oh, why can't you find your words? Why can't you find? They just mock you. They like literally psychologically fuck with you, poison you up, mock you, push you around, and just enjoy the sabotage, my friend. Because if it doesn't get you to erode up on your own and get you to, you know, go on a downward spiral on your own accord, they're going to try and be creating it one way or the other, because it's literally about the identity theft, the money that they can make off of your energy, your equity, life insurance fraud, frauds that they're working in within the home mortgage industry as brokers and whatnot, to literally steal up every last little avenue of your energy, because that's what it was with my writing money and my cryptocurrency. So it's the same thing as though, like, if it's a McDonald's job, or if it's working as a carpenter, or if it's working as, I mean, that was another place, working as a carpenter, getting through school, just having lost my grandpa, being a carpenter, Jesse could still come to me, poison me up, literally, like, in the bathroom puking for like 3 hours. I feel like, I mean, I had like 2 drinks. I wasn't sick. It wasn't like, oh, I just got sick off of 2 drinks, being out feeling as great as I did, working as hard as I'm working. No, this was a cold and calculated, aggravated assault against me, my life, my mind, my ability within my job at work, everything. It was legitimately to break me from my own source of reasoning in my mind, to be able to see through what was actually happening to me. So, because these people are creating this fraud, and they work in the ways that they do, that they are, it's one thing after another, where all of these crimes piled up on me, having been from a minor of having the sexual abuse, the domestic violence against me, the poisoning of me, the biological warfare to leave me alone and pushed off in, to, like, legitimately just leaving me within the crimes that they know about, to, like, you know, you're reaching for their love because you just don't think of your brothers or your friend or even proxy lovers along the way doing this to you, but they do, because they're being incentivized. And so through that incentivized way, and through the manipulated proxies that they're creating, now when you get away then it's a cyanide attack, and instead of the medical staff doing anything to look at my physical body, they just rule out the facts. I believe even scared to even find the truth of what was there, and afraid that if they find that truth, then they would have the evidence to submit to the police, where the police themselves, these people, these perpetrators, these assailants, would all have to be subpoenaed into the court themselves. Now, so the conclusive evidence that I was suggesting to within report after report after report speaks to the facts, even having an admittance statement to yes, I have poisoned you this many times, which I thought was more, but having it right there on a screenshot sent to the police, and they still say there's not enough probable cause to go after the assailants of this arson over my life. Like, weird. So I get no help based on the circumstances of them ruling out these facts, that I believe they're too scared to find out the actual truth, because it's going to make a whole lot more people that are closely related as to suggest, oh no, we have to protect our faces, because now it's not only us, but our families, our children will be affected. It's not only them, but it's like wherever my dad's ties are been, and all of these proxies in my life, all of their ties. So if you're looking at a group of 80 people, it is actually more than that 80 people. It's what I ultimately say. If it's 20 people, it's more than that 20 people. It turns into it affecting not only, if it's 20 people, say it's going to affect another 60 people. And those 60 people being affected is actually affecting a larger group of people. So of course they're not trying to get to the truth, because the coercion of the control inside of my life has aided for them to be coercively violent towards me, leaving me within this state of warfare, leaving me with biological warfare, leaving me with the mental health issues that are created, but not a mental health issue all on its own. And see, that's the damn difference right there, is because these assailants are getting away with conclusive evidence that I was suggesting after, and instead of doing a damn thing, they're pushing me on this fast track, or they're trying to get me actively aggravated into becoming mentally unwell, mentally unstable, so that they can push for what their other assailants within proxy, meaning occultists design, or within syndicate, do as well. Stage it up to where you don't have access to your phones, you don't have access to the outside world, because you're scratching your shoulders. They're going to hold you against your will again. And I don't want to ever go through that again, and the reasons is because they were raping this elderly woman every night, utilizing it as well to get to other people, to throw them in solitary confinement, and you'd never see not one of them come back out that door. That's pretty scary to me. That was just too scary for words. To suggest that there's clowns out here that are literally getting away with real aggravated assaults against people in their lives and their livelihood. So, suggesting that they want to force me into that way, and it's all that they're trying to do, versus actually look at my physical body and find evidence, help me find evidence to get these institutions to partake in the legality, to ensure that I have an outreach outside, in the outside world, to allow me help, is to now be drawn out of these crimes that are completely being drawn up on these drawing boards of these people, to clearly make me a victimized party in a crime that's legitimately to work its way downhill in that downhill spiral. And that's what it does. It's leaving me unprotected, betrayed, where people should have cared about me. I'm feeling unsafe, I'm feeling unheard, I'm feeling I'm in a dangerous position. I'm in a serious, extreme danger at times, and then at times it's legitimately because of the dangers that are creating it. It's like leaving me just scared that my whole life is going to go poof, pop out again. I lose everything for the fifth time, and it's not just everything for the fifth time, but it's like literally all the parts and pieces that I just had to lose before, just to be like, okay, I'm without this for this long, or I have to go out without my drums for a while and work in a certain way, and hopefully I'll get my drums back. You know what I mean? And then that was just a fight in and of itself, just to be able to get my freaking drums back. But so I'm just trying to make it clear and make it powerful to keep it truthful about what my experience is, but making it clear for people to be able to grasp it without losing their moral weight that they could help me with, or any kind of emotional weight that they could take up in order to even create a campaign for me, a dollar warrior campaign that they could take to work for me with. I don't know, there's just something that could be done. I know that there is something that can be done. I just don't know exactly what it is, because I've created like 7 funds for campaigns to help me through this. I've created petitions. I've been on Facebook, getting my last Facebook hacked. Now it's like I'm back down, I'm back shoved down without a wider outreach of support. But it's not like it's almost like the same thing. Like, it didn't matter then, and it doesn't matter now. Now I'm growing up my friends again. If I got this account taken down and whatever taken down, and then they just have the fake version of me up, and they say, "Oh, see, look at the way he is," and it'll be saying the exact opposite of what I'm saying. So it'll be like putting in the picture of, like, instead of it being me to like go to help my mom if she goes to the hospital, it'll be like, "Oh, you're not allowed here because look, see, you said that." It'll be saying the exact opposite of what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? So it wouldn't help me even fight for my mom, or fight to be around for my sister to have her surgery. And then because of all of these things happening all at the same time, it creates a very unreal type of horror story in the minds of others, that they can think to themselves that they doubt the story that I'm coming out with saying. But I don't know how they can do that, because I legitimately couldn't collect all these pieces before, because I couldn't find reason. I found reason, and I collected all of these pieces, and because I did, it literally took me like 9 months, 10 months to a year to get away from the last assailants, being the proxy lover I had. I loved her very, very much. And the proxy friend that I have, and I loved him very, very much as a friend. And it's like, these people can't love me based on them doing what they're doing to me, and I deserve to call back my autonomy and energy and everything. They weren't trying to allow me to that time and energy, because they were playing about this affair to have this identity theft happen, to literally take my life. It's an attempted murder, and it's a premeditated murder, which is like the worst aggravated assault that I think someone can deal with, being poisoned. Like, I'm literally like, good God, I can't even realize that nothing's happened here in my situation, with the proofs that I've had sent to the police reports, proofs that I've had sent to identitytheft.gov, proofs that I've had in multiple different areas. I don't have to go through them all, because I've already gone through them all in my channel. But it literally made me in a place where I couldn't think clearly. I couldn't fight for my mom growing up. I couldn't fight for my sister growing up. I couldn't even fight for myself when my father's aggravated crimes tore through our family. It's how this starts. One trauma makes room for another. And when a child is poisoned up, gaslighted, and silenced, they grow up underdeveloped. So I was very not only underdeveloped, but I was also being aggravated in the assaults that were criminal, taking these abilities to do this to their own little brother in the first place, of poisoning me at a very young age, to leave me in the danger, let alone not even turning around from it or trying to. It was like aggravated, constant aggravated. And what bothers me is that when I would be reaching for love and I wouldn't get it, then it would be pushing me off. And then I would be in tears and a frustration and a confusion so bad because you can't understand this stuff. You don't have your reasoning skills. I'm trying not to cry. But then the worst of the worst is that when you don't get anywhere with either of those, and the frustration and confusion is there, it leaves you as an assailant yourself. All of a sudden you're lashing out at them and the whole family, or anybody. You lash out at anybody. And you just don't realize what you're doing. But then they utilize that to suggest that you're just mentally unwell. Then they created it. Oh. Okay, I gotta focus. So, obviously the mission with HEARTSWERKS. I'm just gonna flip topic a little bit here, because it's just really, it hurts. Really bad. But my mission with HEARTSWERKS was legitimately to aim to get people out of abuse. Get people out of abusive situations and help them. What do they need? What's happening? Figure it out. Not leave people in that. They've made 18 police reports. Not a damn fucking one of them can come together and be like, oh, I get what's happening here. Or all of the times I've gone into the hospital, like, I don't know what's happening to me. My heart's doing this. I feel like I can't breathe. I don't know. Can you help me? Can you help me figure out what's happening to me? Just to leave you in that way, or leave you in that danger. And so the HEARTSWERKS idea wasn't only to take and actually get to those people in a charitable fashion, but to legitimately help them. When a child is being hurt, abused, poisoned, gaslighted, and it's making it easier for others to dismiss them, minimize them, or even work to manipulate good, concerned people for those targets to then as well withdraw from them because they're just in situations of their own. It's becoming a part of that manipulated system of control and coercive control, when these people should have been there as caretakers, as helpers. But behind that mask that they were manipulating everything within was my family's trust, it was my finances, it was my health, it was my relationships. So I know that there's others out there that literally are probably in certain situations like that probably, end up in really bad ways, okay? Really bad ways. And they don't deserve to be there. There's a lot of pain that either needs to be processed to get through it and break on through to the other side, But I'm not trying to bring up a Doris song, but yeah, break on through to the other side. But if you're not able to break through that on their own, and they can't do it on their own, and they're not reaching out for help, or they don't even know that they need help, then there should be offering of support agents out here to offer that help to these people, not allowing Fetty onto our streets like a frickin' bloodbath all over the place. Like, if you literally drive up and down Lake Street in certain areas, well, maybe not anymore because they're literally eradicating homeless. I don't know where they're going. They're just disappearing, basically. But it's wrong. It's wrong, and I don't think that these people are getting help. I believe that these people are being further hurt. And so, and oftentimes from having many conversations about these things, that's exactly what is happening. It's leaving the criminal intent inside of that way to have the coercive control over a party, to then aid them into further psychological warfare dressed up as concern, when these people have no concerns for your actual health or peace of mind or your name or what you would want to do with your life. The only thing that they are doing is to get you into a situation where your signature can create funds for them, and that's all they care about. Because you can go and apply for general housing assistance money, but they're going to try and deny you unless you're going into a homeless shelter, and then it'll be like you signing it, you turn it over to them, and within like 3 days they'll have the money. Like they're friends and their families as friends and whatever, within this big old whatever it is. I think it has heavy duty to deal with, like, occultism, Aleister Crowley, they don't care anything about Jesus being hung on the cross type of syndicate. But, I mean, these things should be scary for people, because you're literally going to professionals that you need to take you seriously to run serious tests. And then instead of doing those tests, like on the spot, they're suggesting for a further date. And then that further date leaves you an assailant. They don't understand your situation, because you're in a situation where you need not only the time that you're taking to be there in the first place, to be working, and to actually have your life, but they don't care. They don't care. You could go homeless for all they give a fuck. As long as they're able to make their ends meet. We're all being taught as independents here on the planet. We're not supposed to be in the body of Christ together. And this is like the biggest crime of them all. There's no togetherness, seriously, when it comes to humanity. So the United, that's just the name of the country. The United States of America doesn't even make sense. It's hardly even America in the way that America was designed to be America in the first place. But ultimately, what I feel that these people are doing is criminal. It doesn't allow people to confirm the facts of what anyone is saying or coming to their doors for. And then these doors are being shut faster than ever on the party, where instead of allowing people to what they need, it's allowing them to mindful situations, mind you, I believe, within a design to do what hurts them most. And that's leaving them in these systems to then hide the fact that the abuse isn't just like something that you can see on a physical level, but I mean even pictures. I've literally seen this lady bring up pictures of like her daughter being physically assaulted by someone who was a police officer, and they don't do anything but make them the problem. So this is breaking down my belief and trust in people, but I know that there's people out there that legitimately would like to attack these issues more hardcore if they knew that there is a way to. But most people are silent supporters and they stay silent supporters because it's not happening to them. Like I said, we're all taught to be independent. So that we're independent, it's not happening to me, why should I care type of attitude needs to end, because when one person is in duress, it means that everyone should be in duress for that one person. And if they're not, they're outside of love, they're outside of availability of being able to break through these systems, to where instead of allowing people to be crazy made by these narcissists and they're continuously harmed, It's taking out a real mission to speak out, to speak to life, to where life can be differently, where life can and should be brighter, where beaches that you see today should be like amplified by like 300 to 3,000% more people, and enjoying each other's company, not having to go into the water worrying about your phone, keys, a towel, or anything that you bring to the beach. And nowadays, because of the way people have been so victimized, people don't even want to go outside. People don't want to even enjoy each other's company. People have a hard time getting inside of missions to even speak out because they don't want to be targeted as well. Well, I can assure you that it wouldn't be anybody being targeted if it was enough of us, which it is, but we need to get loud and we need to work on these missions together. Because the story should matter, and when we don't stop where the bruises start, then we're allowing the bruises to continue to just boil over and act like these things never mutated. They never happened. And that is the problem behind the professionalism and behind these systems and behind fake smiles and fake cares and fake cliche sayings that you're not alone, when legitimately, no one's alone as far as the Lord is concerned. But as far as humanity is treating each other, yes, you humanity are leaving people alone, silenced and destroyed in the silences. That's being left out here and being unmet in regards to how the system is supposed to be what is there to protect us and help us, not protect these criminals. And that it does, and that you have, like, legitimately just the other day, the 43-year-old lady that was working against, like, the CIA's, like, top corruption stuff, like, being that person, and all of a sudden she just dies. It doesn't surprise me at all. It really doesn't. But what surprises me more than that death is the fact that these things get less shares, less likes, and less comments on than all these other whatever videos that people are making. That's the problem, is that the people that are supposed to care less and less until it's just, as long as I'm okay, as long as I have my popcorn at night and I can watch my movie, I am just fine. So long as I can la 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 la, and somebody opens up the door and they see abuse and they say, shut that door. They shut that door. They lock it out. They block it out. They block it away. As if the abuse goes away. As if the torment goes away. And that is shameful. That's shameful of our world to be in this fashion. And so I'm going to speak out about it because, especially now, because, well, what happens tomorrow? It literally took me forever to get to where I'm at right here and now today so that I could move about this way. But if we're not going to speak out and we're going to just allow people to go through the same and allow people to be pushed in this way, we're not surviving as humanity, and we're not going to survive too well in humanity moving forward. And it doesn't matter how many of us that they kill. People should be irate about the ways that the system is working as far as these assailants just getting away scot-free. These abusers just getting away scot-free with whatever the fuck they want to do to people in their lives. And if you don't agree with me, you don't have to, but I believe that any human heart, the way it was designed to be, truly does care about these things. So that's my message. I'm gonna go cry now. Probably legitimately. I just don't like the way the world is working. And, yeah, it's hurt me bad. I literally, I can't get away from the pain that it's caused in my body. And it helps for me to cry. So, thanks for being here, and until next time, God bless, and I hope that you're taking care of yourselves. I know I'm trying to, and maybe it would help if some of you would actually cry as well. Cry for me and cry with me. Peace.